What's up, world? You're tuned into 423 FM. You already know we've got you covered with your daily dose of celebrity drama. Now let's get into it. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the 423. Whether you like her or not, you have to know that Chrissy Teigen is not one to mess with, and one of her fellow cookbook authors learned that the hard way on Friday. Writer Alison Roman did an interview with New Consumer, and some of her comments from the piece ended up getting picked up by Page 6. Here's what she said. What Chrissy Teigen has done is so crazy to me. She had a successful cookbook, and then it was like, boom, line at Target. Boom, now she has an Instagram page that has over 1 million followers, where it's just like people running a content farm for her. That horrifies me, and it's not something that I ever want to do. I don't aspire to that. She went on to say, but like, who's laughing now? Because she's making a ton of effing money. Alison also threw shade at Marie Kondo, who's known for her organizational techniques and literally never bothering anyone, saying, the idea that when Marie Kondo decided to capitalize on her fame and make stuff that you can buy, that is completely antithetical to everything she's ever taught you. I'm like, damn bitch, you effing sold out immediately. Someone's like, you should make stuff, and she's like, okay, slap my name on it, I don't give a shit. Before Chrissy even responded to this whole thing, Alison was getting absolutely obliterated online. She went on to tweet about being bullied by other women and wishing someone was there to hold her hand during her first internet backlash, and as you can see, she's got hundreds of replies on every tweet, a majority of which are people criticizing her for tearing down women of color because she doesn't think they deserve to be more successful than her. Obviously, Teigen caught wind of this and made a thread about the whole situation, saying how much Alison's interpretation of her hurt. She posted the article and wrote, "This is a huge bummer and hit me hard. I've made her recipes for years now, bought the cookbooks, supported her on social and praised her in interviews. I even signed on to executive produce the very show she talks about doing in this article. I started Cravings because I wanted something for myself. I wanted something John didn't buy. I wanted something to do that calmed me, made me happy, and made others happy too. Cravings isn't a machine or farmed content. It's me and 2 other women. I didn't sell out by making my dreams come true. To have a cookware line, to be part of a process start to finish, to see something go from sketch to in my hands, I love that. To see that thing in my hand being used by people around the world makes me so happy. Watching a company grow makes me happy. I get joy from it, and lots of people do. I genuinely loved everything about Alison. Was jealous she got to have a book with food on the cover instead of a face. I've made countless New York Times recipes she's created, posting along the way. I don't think I've ever been so bummed out by the words of a fellow food lover. I just had no idea I was perceived that way, by her especially, and Marie too. Marie is awesome. It's been really crappy to deal with this all day, but I couldn't not say something. I know the actual tears I put into the work I do, and it's really hard to see someone try to completely invalidate it. Someone I really liked. There are many days I cry very hard because Cravings, the site, is our baby we love to pump content onto. We do this work ourselves, and there is no monetary gain yet. It is just work, 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 and the reward is you liking it. So to be called a sellout, it hurts. This farm you think of doesn't exist. I am the farm, I'm the cows, the horses, the pigs. She ended her statement by saying, anyhow, now that that's out there, I guess we should probably unfollow each other, tagging Alison Roman. That obviously sent way more criticism Alison's way, so she replied, tweeting this. Hi, Chrissy Teigen. I sent an email but also wanted to say here that I'm genuinely sorry I caused you pain with what I said. I shouldn't have used you or your business or Marie's as an example to show what I wanted for my own career. It was flippant, careless, and I'm so sorry. Being a woman who takes down other women is absolutely not my thing and don't think it's yours either. I obviously failed to effectively communicate that. I hope we can meet one day. I think we'd probably get along. This apology doesn't seem very genuine to me. I mean, it's barely an apology. Alison claims she was only using Chrissy Teigen and Marie Kondo's careers to outline what she doesn't want for herself, but I think there's a very clear reason why she didn't use an example like Martha Stewart or Rachel Ray, who shill out all of their cooking accessories to every store imaginable. It's just not a coincidence that she speaks very disrespectfully about 2 Asian women in the same interview. Plus, I don't buy that if Target offered this cookbook writer the opportunity to have her own line, that she would turn it down because it's just not in her career trajectory. She's envious, plain and simple, especially because white women are supposed to be at the top of her field, and people like Chrissy Teigen are way more successful than her. I know a lot of people don't like Chrissy and think she's obnoxious, but there's no doubt about the work that she puts into her work with food. She has such a unique writing style, and her cookbooks and website are full of recipes clearly written completely by her, so Alison really doesn't have a leg to stand on with any of her accusations. Now, on to Tyra Banks. She finally responded to all the backlash she's been getting recently due to the resurfaced America's Next Top Model clips going around right now. If you watched ANTM back in the day, you already know that Tyra was awful to a lot of those girls, but the premise, at least from my understanding when I was watching it as a 12-year-old, is that that was the reality of the modeling world and she was just trying to get them ready for later on in their careers. Lately, people have been talking about all the horrible things Tyra made the contestants do, like making girls with long hair shave it bald before sending them home a week later, and stuff of that nature. One clip that got a lot of traction was of a contestant named Danny Evans, who didn't close the gap in her 2 front teeth when Tyra sent them all to the dentist. Because of this, she and the rest of the judges threatened to eliminate her, so Danny agreed to partially close it.
So, Danielle, you went to the dentist, but you refused to have your gap closed. Do you really think you can have a CoverGirl contract with the gap in your mouth?
Yeah, why not?
This is all people see. It's easier to beautiful CoverGirl. It's not marketable.
Yeah, just a little bit is okay, but I don't want to completely close it.
Well, I guess she just left the gap wide open for another girl, baby.
I agree.
This whole exchange is especially troubling when considering that on another season of the show, Tyra had a white model widen the gap in her teeth, proving that the same feature a black model needs to remove to be a cover girl is a quirky, signature aesthetic on a white model. Danny responded to this backlash with a long video after Slick Woods, a famous model with a gap in her teeth, posted the clip, remembering how much damage Tyra's message did to her as a young woman watching the show.
Guys, what's up? It's Danny here. Wow, what a crazy day yesterday with that video going viral. So this video is just to weigh in on everything. I appreciate all of the news outlets that reached out to see if I wanted to comment. I honestly didn't feel it necessary until late last night when I received a message from Slick Woods. Shout out to you, Slick. I knew in that moment, after reading her words, that I have a responsibility to address what really happened and to speak my truth. But let me tell you what this video is not. This is not a video to war against anyone. This is not a video to defame anyone's character. And this is not a video to discuss my relationship with Tyra. This is a video for me to speak my truth and to provide clarity and for me to address an issue that was done 15 years ago that carries weight and that clearly affected a lot of young girls in America after watching it. Before I get into the ins and outs of that episode, I want to take you guys back a little bit before we go forward so that everything makes sense and flows cohesively. I did top model listening to the wisdom of Elliot, my brother. Honestly, the greatest wisdom he could have ever given me, even though at the time I thought it was so dumb. He knew I wanted to get out of Little Rock really badly. And he was like, yo, you should do top model just to get out. I was like, I would never in my life do that. It's fake modeling. They humiliate girls. Terrible idea. He was like, yo, just do it to get out. It's a one-way ticket out to New York. Genius. Bingo. We're doing top model. With that being said, I had one goal in mind. The one goal was to get out of my hometown, to create a different, better life for myself. That was it. I wasn't concerned about challenges. I wasn't concerned about the things that would be set up in place to kind of deter me and to knock me off my game. I was so focused. I wasn't even hungry. I was starved to get out. You need to understand that, starved. So any and everything, the opposition that came my way, I was so deaf to it because I had a goal. And anyone that stood in my way of getting out of Little Rock was going to get bulldozered over. Period. There were a few things that came up. Like the first one I think was my diction, my dialect, my accent, whatever you want to label it. When I'm filming and I'm in the middle of it, I had no idea that I sounded different than the rest of the girls. I'm like, all right, like, how do I fix it? You say I sound weird. How do I fix it? It wasn't until I got off of the show, went back home, and then I watched the show over and I was like, oh, it's just a matter of me enunciating my words. You know what I'm saying? Done, easy, fixed it, moving on to the next. Cut to that particular episode. Let's get into it about the gap. We were all going to the dentist as a whole. Me and Joni went first. We get to the dentist and the guy asked me, do you want to get anything done to your teeth? And I say, yeah, clean me up, whiten my teeth. He repeatedly asked me if I want to close my gap. No, I don't want to close my gap. Push pin, none of this aired on TV. I'm giving you guys the behind the scenes, right? He kept asking me if I wanted to close my gap. Nah, bruh. Super cool. I'm super secure in my gap. Of course, like any other kid, I'd be lying to you if I said I grew up loving my long neck, my jawbone, and my gap. I did not. I hated it all. I used to cry and ask my mother for braces. We couldn't afford braces. What did my mother say to me? She reminded me that my two grandmothers, who I absolutely adored, had gaps. They're queens. You're just like your grandmothers. You know what? I learned to accept and love my gap. So on Top Model, when they wanted to close it, I was like, nah, fam, I'm good. Cut to, we're now in elimination. So I go forward. Tyra's like, why didn't you get your gap closed? I'm like, huh? She's like, I told you to get your gap closed. I'm like, no, you didn't. She looks off camera right to production, which none of you guys ever see. I look off stage, camera right to production. Kim Mott gives me one of these. In that moment, I knew what was happening. I knew that I was basically set up and not being told that Tyra wants me to get my gap closed so that it's good for TV, right? So in that moment, the 19, 20-year-old Danielle stood there realizing that it was my one-way ticket out on this side or keeping my gap on this side and going back to Little Rock, Arkansas. What you think I'm gonna choose, fam? So Tyra says to me, if I send you back to the dentist, will you get your gap closed? And I meet her with another question. So what you're saying to me is, if I tell you no, then you're gonna send me home tonight. Me and Tyra went and did that whole fiasco about 2 or 3 times, which you guys saw none of that on TV. What you saw is me coming up with a compromise saying that I'm okay with you closing it some of the way, but not all of the way. Let me explain something to you. The family that I come from, a family of hustlers, a family of go-getters, I was not going to allow something that is physical on my face to stop me from getting out to make a better life for myself. I had a laser focused goal. Nothing or no one was going to stand in my way. And it wasn't about copping out. It was about understanding what really carries weight and holds value in my life. And teeth was not one of them. I wasn't tight because of Tyra's comment about me not being able to model with a gap. I wasn't tight about Miss J's comment about leaving the gap wide open for the next girl. All of that was trivial to me. I've heard it all before. What I was tight about is them trying to play me and making good for TV. However, the me now and reading the comments and understanding the weight that it created in other girls who saw that. This is why this post is being made, because I want to address all of those young girls, because I've been using this time in quarantine to really go back and to love on and to nurture the little Danielle from childhood. So I'm going to take this time to build up and to speak to all of my young queens that saw that episode, that were truly affected by Tyra's words. I want to speak to you right now. You're beautiful. And I'm not talking about a physical feature. It doesn't matter if you have a gap, stacked teeth, straight teeth. It matters not. It doesn't matter if you're black, brown, white, indifferent, other. It doesn't matter. What makes you beautiful is in here. It's a matter of your self-worth, high self-worth or low self-worth. And no one can establish that except you. So I'm speaking to all the little girls. And if I could love on all of you right now, I would. I want to remind you of your worth. You're a masterpiece. You were so loved. You were so adored, and you're beautiful. And it's not because someone higher up says that you're beautiful. You don't become a star because someone acknowledges your light. You are light. You are worth. You are valued. You are loved. Always stand in your truth and your power, and don't let anyone ever tell you that you're not. If you have a goal, go for it. Bulldozer any and everybody out the way that's standing in opposition of you.
Now, Tyra Banks is finally responding, barely, writing the following on Twitter. Been seeing the posts about the insensitivity of some past ANTM moments, and I agree with you. Looking back, those were some really off choices. Appreciate your honest feedback, and I'm sending so much love and virtual hugs. Like I said, a bunch of clips have been going viral over the past week, and Tyra gave absolutely zero indication to which one she was talking about, which choices were off, and what was insensitive. You can't give a sincere apology without acknowledging what you're apologizing for, and Tyra definitely didn't do that here. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think about this. What do you think about Alison Roman's quotes about Chrissy Teigen and Marie Kondo? And was Tyra's apology sufficient with all of the backlash she's been getting? Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Subscribe to the 423 for more videos, and if you like this one, just give it a quick thumbs up. That is it for today. I will see you guys next time. Bye.